The good decisions curve, same thing, you've got a y-axis and an x-axis, time and volume. But in this case, it's an inversion of the last curve, right? So in the beginning, whenever you're new and you don't know much, you don't make very many good decisions. You make very few good decisions.
Sure.
And this is why the training comes so important, right? And so I've run into clients where they over-delegate and under-instruct, right? And they basically say, let that employee go figure it out. Well, that employee doesn't know how to do it. And so there's all kinds of bad decisions, and now the employer is not a very happy camper. So when you have that beginning level, that beginning person, right, we want to have the steps documented 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So they don't have to make a lot of decisions. Over time, what happens in this case, because it's inverted, they'll learn and they'll start to make good decisions. They'll start to make better decisions, and you can give them more control. This is exactly what you're talking about. This is that why thing that you're talking about, right? So let's talk for just a minute, because I've actually had some clients recently that have one of the first things we figured out was that they had a couple employees that were on that downward Y curve that you mentioned.
Sure.
Right? So why do you think that happens?
Sometimes it's just the wrong employee. I've had employees work for me at several different companies, the same people, and some companies they're great with, some companies they either, maybe they're going through divorce, maybe they have a personal issue, maybe they have a health issue, maybe their attitude's just down.
There could be some life stuff.
I've had great employees who've fizzled and had problems. I've had mediocre employees who, with the right training, have become outstanding. I think the thing that I enjoy the most is when I get into a company and we have employees that are kind of mediocre, but we start to train them and really show them what their end objective is, what we value. A lot of times our employees think that their job is just, I'm going to finish the spreadsheet and I'm going to
do X.
The employee needs to really understand what you as an employer value. If they can see that, and then you give them the right amount of accolade, whether that accolade's a pat on the head, whether it's a day off, whether it's money, whatever it is.
Dinner, whatever.
Whatever, if that employee really understands what you're looking for and brings that to you, that relationship becomes solid and becomes wonderful. I had an employee come to me and tell me he wanted to make more money, and I said, I will give you $1 million. And he stood back and said, I said, if you bring me $2 million net, I'll give you $1 million of it. And what it did for him is it focused him off of, hey, my mom's sick, I have to buy a new car, I over leveraged my credit cards, I didn't pay them and I need more money, into if you bring me money and you provide value to the company, I'm going to share that value with you. Completely changed who he was and made him a completely different guy. Still friends today. He's a great guy. But it's very critical for our group if everybody if the company understands what their objective is and what we value of their service. And then we measure their service and their value, what they're bringing in, how they're doing it, how often. And we give them the accolades and the recognition that they deserve for the hard work that they put in.
So we've got great specifications.
Right.
That's an important part of the hiring process. And it's what are the skills, but also what are the attitudes, what are the behaviors that they need to have, and then we've got being able to measure
the training.
Progress. Training.
Proper training. Support.
And then measurement.
And expectations.
So have you run into this, and I suspect you have, you've done plenty of things, but where the business owner has actually, they kind of understand that there's a problem here, and then you're able to help share and identify what that problem is, and yet they still don't want to make a decision to make a change, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
All the time. And that especially happens when it's either families involved or when it's somebody who's been with the company for a long time.
I think those are two things that are really important. The other one is if they aren't prepared to bring somebody in, right, and that person's playing a key role,
right,
then they get into this acceptance thing. And they say, well, I have to keep that person because I don't have anybody else to do it, right? Because they haven't put systems and processes in to slide somebody else into that spot, right? Anything could happen to anybody any day, right? So you have to be prepared for that stuff. And you're not in control. You don't get to decide.
Right.